Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Usually we do pick a card readings, and today I want to answer a question that was actually written into me via email. And I will keep the viewer anonymous because I didn't ask whether I should do this reading or not. I just got the intuitive prompt to do so. So I will keep her name unrevealed. But basically, I figured that because I didn't necessarily have the answer to the question on hand, that we could do a reading on this, and I could, first of all, relay that to her, and then as well help possibly other people who have the same issue or question. So basically, the question was, how does what I manifest, or how is what I manifest affected if I have severe mental or physical health issues? And the issue that she was specifically struggling with was central nervous system dysregulation. And this is, creating a lot of anxiety and uncontrollable fear responses through the neurochemicals in the brain. And this affects how she experiences life. And as someone who has suffered pretty much my whole life with anxiety, I totally can relate, maybe not in terms of severity, but definitely I can relate to that experience. And so I had wondered this as well. How does it affect what it is that we create as manifesting creator beings? How does this all work? And so since I don't have just an answer off the top of my head, let's take a look. So no groups today. We're just going to ask these questions. So Spirit, can you give us information, please, on how our manifestations are affected by our physical/mental health? How does it affect what we create? Okay, we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. And I'm hearing it slows things down. Okay, it slows things down. I want to get a clarifier on that. Makes it more difficult, I'm hearing, but I also just saw 222 on the recording time, which is the master builder number, and can have to do with cooperation, working together, building something that is physical or tangible. And the Three of Pentacles reversed here is kind of talking to me about how it's really hard to collaborate, because it's like the mind, the body, and the spirit, the Trinity. There's one or two layers of that are out of alignment or that are out of whack in some way. And then it makes it more difficult for the whole self to create. So it does slow manifestation. That's the message I'm getting right away. Ten of Swords, yeah, because the physical toll that is taken on the body really limits the resources to be able to energetically contribute to what it is that you're manifesting. So, let's say you're trying to manifest health, or you're trying to manifest happiness, and that anxiety or that fear response or that nervous system dysregulation is so overpowering and overbearing. It's not going to stop the manifestation in its tracks, but it's going to slow it down, and it's going to I'm seeing compartmentalization, like fractalization, almost like this Ten of Swords being cut into pieces. And instead of having them all together and then being able to function and walk and do things, it's like these different pieces of the manifestation are not fully kind of fleshed out or coming together. So let's get another clarifier on that. I actually feel that one right on top. I'll just put that there for a sec. The Four of Swords. Yeah, so the best thing that we can do when we're in that situation where the mind, body, spirit are not aligned, and it's affecting our ability to affect positively our reality, or to manifest results that we desire, is to, I'm hearing ask for help, but I was going to say like rest and tune in. It's kind of like surrendering, being able to understand the physical limitations, but not give up the hope. Does that make sense? It's like I understand that these are the issues that I'm working with at the physical level, but I also understand that there is a higher power, and that this power resides within me. And if I can, on some level, maybe even if it's just a surface or a tertiary level, relax enough to be able to have that belief or that trust become more prominent or more prevalent within me, the longer I am able to hold that, even in counterbalance to all of these other issues that are going on, the more effective that manifestation is going to be, the more positive the results will be. But the other question that I had was, is there a way to change this? Is there a way to work around it? How can we heal or resolve these issues if possible? I saw 511 on the recording time. That's an activation code. So, and it's change. 5 is about change. So that's exactly what I'm kind of asking here. How do we change it? Page of Pentacles. And I heard health routines when I pulled over the card. Yeah, I mean, part of this is the fact that we live in a pretty toxic system. Like, the world that we live in is not necessarily conducive to our overall health and well-being. A lot of the things that we experience on a daily basis are really unnatural, from our food to our air to the water quality to the way that we interact socially to our jobs. Literally everything. It's like, how can you have a healthy fish if the fish tank is toxic? So I think, like, personally, I believe that that's the number one issue. Like, that's the main thing. Now, the other aspect here is, what are we doing to contribute to or reduce some of the severity of the symptoms? Are we implementing health routines that are helpful or that we have been guided to? And here's another thing that's coming through. If you are in this fear response, it might feel like it's very hard to connect to spirit, but I can tell you from my experience that spirit will still communicate with you. Like, in my times where I have had extreme panic attacks and stuff like that, I was still receiving messages. It was just more from the outside than from the inside. When I'm really calm, it comes from the inside. When I'm triggered, when I'm stressed, when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm in full-on meltdown, the outside will show me the messages as well. So it will be mirrored instead of from the inside. So that's also something to look for. And synchronicities can be a way of doing that. So paying attention to, like, the repeating symbols and messages, because that's not necessarily even connected to what you're manifesting. It can be, but that's spirit directly trying to communicate with you. And so I'm getting the word unadulterated. That is unadulterated confirmation and information that needs to come through. And that won't be affected, is what I'm hearing, that won't be affected by your current mental or physical state. So that information will be there regardless, and it will be intact. So the real sort of thing is are you able to see that? Can you put it together? And then can you implement? And there's many ways that spirit will communicate with you in this way. Like, I've been at my worst in moments and cried out for help from spirit. And then very shortly afterwards, they put something in my path that would help me to heal. And it can be anything from a supplement to a book that I needed to read to somebody that had some information that was vital to me at that time. And it doesn't solve the issue, but if pursued and continued, then it can help to change it. It can help to improve it, basically. Now, the other thing about, can we change this? Yes, we can, but like the three legs that he has here is also reminding me of the mind, body, spirit. It's like all of them have to be moving in the same direction, and sometimes it's hard to change the physical structure when the mind is going off on a tangent, or when the spirit is disconnected, or when, if the spirit and the mind are in alignment, if the body is out of whack. It's kind of like any one side of that triangle being off is going to have an impact on the other sides. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint which side is causing the issue. At least in my experience, it's like, where is it coming from? Is it the spirit? Is it the mind? Is it the body? How are these things different? They're all interconnected. How do I trace it back to the root? How do I heal that? And so for me, in my experience, what I've done, and it's not necessarily proven 100% effective yet, I'm still trying to figure this out myself. That's why I wanted to sit down and do a reading on it, because I don't fully know. But in my experience, I've just tried to hit all angles as best I can. So like treating the physical symptoms with supplements, treatments, things that I'm guided to, and treating the mental symptoms by doing some deconditioning, deprogramming, subliminals, self-work, parts work, self-focused relationship, like all of these healing, EMDR, all of these like mental health things, practices. And then at the spirit level, going into the Akash and doing soul blueprint clearing, healing trauma, healing rifts, healing tears, healing scars in the etheric field, like doing all of these different things. And has that changed things for me? In small ways, yes. has it fixed the problem? No. So that's why I'm like, I don't have the answer, and I wish that I did, but I'm really just like on this journey with you guys. So anyway, point being is there a way to make this work? I'm getting a yes, but I still don't fully know how. So let's see. We have the 7 of Wands reversed. Okay, so this, I'm hearing inside out, and I'm hearing don't back down. So this is about doing the things that you're called to do, being persistent and consistent with the types of things that you know improve, even if marginally, the experience that you're having. Education could be important as well. And I don't mean education as in like going to school. I mean education as in learning from spirit and applying what you're learning as you go along. Okay, what else? Page of Cups reversed as well. I'm hearing healing is not always possible for everyone in this situation. It's going to depend on the person. And I looked up and it was 11:11 at the time that I just said that. Okay, so why is this not possible for all people, Spirit? Some souls incarnate to learn very particular lessons about disempowerment, disease, strife, or struggle. These souls have chosen a particular lifetime to isolate that experience within for the purpose of understanding. It is a learning experience, and therefore it cannot be changed at that level. But it is temporary. It is maybe 1 or 2 lifetimes. Any further than that would not serve the progression or evolution of the soul. Okay. Whew, thank you. Thank you, Spirit. What about the others? What about the others, and how would we tell the difference? Firstly, if hope is being provided, then there is a path to healing within the lifetime. Secondly, if this path is provided or illuminated, the individual can walk it upon their free will and in their time. It may not prove as fruitful for those who are bound to the karmic lifetime of learning. The way to tell the difference, to discern between the two, is to look to the severity of the symptoms. The more acute and chronic the symptoms are, often occurring at an early onset and persisting through the lifetime, the more likely it is that the soul has chosen this for the purpose of learning. Although to the human it may seem like chaos, it is not punishment. To those where the symptoms occur later as a result of lifestyle or of personal choices, these symptoms can be alleviated and the karmic balance will be restored upon free will investment in the shift to make a change. Okay, so my question now is, Spirit, if somebody is born with something or it becomes really strong and then they're kind of like stuck with that because that's what they've chosen at soul level to experience, how can we alleviate their suffering at the human level? The human level suffering can be reduced through the acceptance of the symptoms. The perspective of the soul will greatly reduce the suffering of the individual. The ego's acceptance and surrender to the eventuality of this process and the temporal factors involved will reduce suffering in the lifetime in question. Okay, so I think what they're saying there is talking about like not resist. Okay, hold on. Let me unpack that. It's like being able to accept or surrender to what is happening and knowing that it's temporary. Is that correct, Spirit? No. Acceptance and surrender, awareness of the temporary nature of the suffering, even though it may feel like a lifetime or is a lifetime to the individual, is not the answer to the problem. It is simply a way of perceiving it. And this reduces suffering? Yes. Okay. All right. Why does this happen? Oh, well, I mean, I guess we kind of already, that was like the third question I was going to ask is why does this happen? But they kind of already answered that. Like it happens because the soul has chosen that for some reason. Well, okay, let me ask that then. Why would a soul choose that, Spirit? Why would a soul choose that? Page of Swords. It's like X marks the spot. Trying to find something, trying to learn something. I heard betterment. Betterment of the self. Six of Cups. And Six of Wands. Oh, wow. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. So why would a soul choose this? Because, like, specifically, why would a soul choose a lifetime where it was going to experience that level of chronic health issues from a young age or throughout the entire lifetime or to some degree in an intense way? Because it helps the soul to evolve. This young energy to the Six of Wands is like, it helps the soul to very quickly evolve. I saw 1711 on the recording time. So it helps this spiritual expansion. And they're showing me that it gives the soul experience. So yeah, it's kind of like experience credits to help you to level up. And it's very short and intense. That's why it's only 1 to 2 lifetimes, which for us as humans feels like forever. You know, it feels really, really hard. But from the soul perspective, like from a bird's eye view, 1 or 2 lifetimes is like nothing. And it's really hard for us as humans to wrap our heads around that. Like I have both perspectives, and it's confusing for me sometimes because I experience my life as Siobhan, as this human, as this ego self, having a hard time in this life and being like, what the hell? And then I also experience myself from the soul or the higher self perspective where I'm like, this is really not that bad. It's very short and it's not that big a deal. And I'm like, well, how do I reconcile those two perspectives that are both true? They're both true. But it's basically for this purpose of evolution. It's for this purpose of expanding the self, growing, learning, evolving, which is very, very valuable at soul level. I'm also seeing that the other reason a soul might choose this is because it will ultimately lead to more long-term happiness at the soul level. So when the soul can evolve, it reaches these states of bliss and peace. I'm hearing nirvana. Yeah, so it's like it's conducive to overall soul expansion and unification, like to reunify or to evolve in that way to that higher consciousness. The soul has to experience a lot of different things, both good and bad from our human perspective. To the soul, it's not good or bad. It's neutral. It's just experience for growth. But at the human level, we experience it as good or bad, or we categorize it as that based on how it feels to us. So long story short, oh my God, 1911, so many activation codes in this reading. So that's why I was called to sit down and do it instead of just channeling it for the one person who was asking. I feel like I needed to make this available for more people who might have this question or might be suffering or struggling with these types of things. So overall, can we influence how we experience this? Yes, we can. Can we influence our healing? Yes, we can. Can we overcome the limitations that may present at a physical level to help create our reality? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Those caveats being that there may be slower progress. If we're struggling with really, really debilitating things, there's slower progress, but it won't stop it completely. Secondly, we have to incorporate our physical free will into basically like having the determination through the free will and the grit to not give up. It's like keeping that spirit alive, keeping your will strong, not submitting to hopelessness. I just heard. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Spirit. Not submitting to hopelessness. And then thirdly, in worst case scenario, fully just surrendering to the fact that this is a temporary lifetime and you are benefiting from it at soul level for the purpose of your evolution. positive perspective, basically. It's just a perspective shift. So that is the message. I hope that this helps someone or multiple people. My goal is always to help people with my readings. If this doesn't resonate for you or it doesn't feel like truth for you, that's totally fine. There are always multiple truths and some of them will be contradictory. This is by no means the entire truth. I'm still trying to figure this out myself, but I wanted to receive some guidance on it and hopefully help someone in the process. So I'm just going to leave that there for you guys. Take what resonates, leave the rest, as you know. And I'm sending you lots of love and healing and support for whatever it is that you're going through and whatever it is that you're looking to manifest. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading.